You are listening to Worship Radio International, the world's #1 online Christian radio station. Check out our website at www.worshipradio.faith or follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Worship Radio INT. This is the future.
Hey, everybody. How you doing? Back again, Coaching by Al. I am Al Wilson Jr., your host, gracious host. Very, very thankful to be your host. Very thankful to be here with you on this beautiful morning. The snow is falling. It's nice and fluffy. It's probably crazy for those of you who are driving, but for the rest of you who are just looking out of your window, I'm sure it looks absolutely beautiful, just like the postcard, right? It's a good morning. Any morning is a good morning. Any day is a good day. Any afternoon, weekend, night, every day is a good day. If you wake up, it's a good day. Try waking up to no day, or try not waking up. Either way is going to, you get my point? So today is a great day. First of all, want to say hello to my beautiful, lovely wife who's at home and my daughter. I don't know if you're watching just yet, but if you are, I love you and thank you so much for doing all that you do for me to make me look like I'm smart. You know, I appreciate that. And then I also want to thank our wonderful, gracious sponsor for today, holycloud.us. Holycloud.us. That's a website that you want to pay attention to, you want to go to, you want to check it out. Holy Cloud, HOLYCLOUD.US. holycloud.us. They take care of websites. They take care of domain names. They take care of emails, business emails. They take care of SSL certificates. Anything that you need, they can handle. holycloud.us. They are our wonderful, gracious sponsors for today's show. If you're interested in being a sponsor as well, you can contact me at info@coachingbyal.com. info@coachingbyal.com. Leave me your information. Perhaps you have a commercial, or maybe you have something that you want to share and you want to be a host of this show. We can get together and talk about it. You could help promote what we're doing for weeks, years to come, however you want to do it. You know, I'm not even going to say months. I'm just going to go from weeks to years, because I believe that there's somebody out there that's ready to do this thing seriously. All right. So if you have a business and you want it shared with everyone, all of the people who watch this program, all of the people who watch not only this program, but this network, this station. Did I say that? Yep, I said it. You could get in contact with me and we can talk about how you could be a sponsor of this program as well. All right. So listen, for those of you who are already engaged and ready to find out what we're talking about today, if you didn't hear my little short video earlier, today we are talking about enthusiasm. Enthusiasm. That's a huge word. It's a big topic. It's a big subject. It's something that all of us need to be able to integrate into our lives. Some of us have it already. Some of us maybe need a little bit more enthusiasm in our lives, or at least to understand how it can be helpful or useful in our lives. So when that starts in just a second, then that's what we're going to be talking about. And the reason why I say when that starts is because, excuse me, there's a couple other things that I do want to mention before we get started. First is, please check out the other wonderful hosts that are on this station. Worship Radio International. You can go to Worship Radio International's Facebook page, or you can go to worshipradio.faith. Worshipradio.faith, that's the website, worshipradio.faith, and you will see a host of other wonderful hosts that have programs right here. In fact, the one that just came on before mine, the Marketplace with Linda Hunt, and I know I'm not calling the name of it just right, but her name is Linda Hunt. She comes on at 11 a.m. Eastern time, by the way. Thank you so much, cousin, my cousin Celeste, who reminded me not everybody is Eastern time. So for those of you who are Central or otherwise, she comes on at 11 a.m. Eastern time, where I come on 12 o'clock Eastern time. Her program is a wonderful program, and she just had a panel of guests on that were talking about human trafficking, for example, how important is that, especially in this day and age, right? So listen, there's a lot of people that have wonderful programs on here. Check them out as well. That's the first thing I want to mention. The second thing I want to mention is don't forget every week on Saturday at noon, this is where you want to be with Coaching by Al. You can watch it on my Facebook page, Coaching by Al, or you could listen to TuneIn. You could go to Spotify. You can go to worshipradio.faith and listen to it there because it is a radio show. It just so happens that for those of you who are watching on Facebook, you get an actual opportunity to see me live while it's happening. But it is, in fact, a radio show. Okay, and maybe you have a radio show in mind. Maybe you have an idea. Maybe you say, you know what, I could get on the air and talk about something that's important to me. And of course, we have to make sure it follows particular guidelines because this is Worship Radio International. That's right. It is all about the believers. It is all about the saints of God. It is all about getting the word out to everyone, though. Okay. So if that's your idea or that's your thought, contact them. If you have a book idea, you can go to Yascribe Publishing. Yascribe, talk to them. They have everything you need to get started with your book idea, whether it's already written or whether you're just in the beginning stages and you have thoughts. Contact Yahscribe, Yascribe Publishing. Give them a talk. Logos, printing, you name it. Everything that you could possibly want is a one-stop shop right here. And start by going to worshipradio.faith, and it'll give you all the avenues to get to everywhere else. Okay, so now let's get into the talk for today. I see some people popping up, and I got to put my specs back on so I can see who it is. I see my wife on. Hello, lovely, my baby, my honey, my sugar, and also my little bitty baby, Nala. I love you. I see Dr. Stanley L. Scott, Senior Pastor of Salvation Temple Church at 25,000 North Chrysler Drive. Check him out. He has an 11 a.m. Eastern Time Sunday morning service there, worship service, power-packed word. And then guess what? We share that building. So at 2 p.m., God's Holy Temple Church, the church that I am humbled and honored to be able to pastor, we use that same building at 2 p.m. And our service goes maybe about an hour and a half, somewhere around there, somewhere between an hour and a half and 2 hours, not too long, but we have an excellent, wonderful time. For those of you who don't know how to get out of bed early in the morning, right? You can come at 2 p.m. and be a part of that worship service, 25,000 North Chrysler Drive in the city of Hazel Park, Michigan. So that's two places. Then I also see my brother Darrell Beavers. God bless you, man. I love you. I hope you're back in town or still in town. He travels the roadways, y'all. He has a wonderful trucking company, Straight Ray Transportation. I see you. I see my sister Linda Collins. God bless you. Good to see you. She's also a member of Salvation Temple and a praise leader over there, as well as many other things that she does. But I see you. God bless you. I see my sister Kimberly Beavers. Hey, Kimmy. That's my blood sister, y'all. That's my blood sister right there. And I love her so much. And she's actually praise and worship leader at God's Holy Temple Church. And she puts it down, y'all. She puts it down. Oh, yeah. So listen, we're about to get into this talk. What am I talking about today? Now, okay, before I go any further, there's two things I need you to do for me. Those of you who are watching right now, I need you to share this video, this live video. You can share right now. Just go down to the bottom, click share, send it out to your friends, send it out to your family. Send it out to whomever you think needs to hear a message about enthusiasm. Do you know some young people that need to understand enthusiasm? Do you know somebody who's going through a trying place in their life and they need to understand the power of enthusiasm? Do you know someone who's doing great in whatever it is they're doing? They're up and coming, or maybe they're already successful in their business or practice or whatever it is. They need some reminders about enthusiasm. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So go ahead and share this live feed. Go ahead. I'm not going to say anything to embarrass you. I promise you that. Nothing to embarrass you. Then the second thing that I need you to do is share it again. Yeah. And then feel free to make comments. I love to read your comments while we're going. And it just helps to enhance the experience that everybody is experiencing. Okay. Now, let's get into enthusiasm. What is enthusiasm? Three things we're going to cover. Maybe four, but three for sure. One, what is enthusiasm? 2, what does enthusiasm do for you? 3, what happens when you don't have enthusiasm? Not necessarily in that order, but that's what we're going to talk about today. So, the big issue with enthusiasm, first of all, is what is it? It is excitement? No. Is it just no. It's not hype. Enthusiasm, first of all, comes from a couple different words. In and then theos. Okay, it's a Greek word where we get our word enthusiasm from. Entheos. Entheos. That's where the word originates. What it means is in. That's in. E-N. And then theos means God. Okay, so in one way of saying it's saying in God. The other translation for enthusiasm or enthos, check this out, you're going to love it. Full of God. Full of God. Okay, now let me get into what I'm explaining here. Enthusiasm has everything to do with the energy, the excitement, the level of personal conviction that you bring to any particular subject that you're interested in. Enthusiasm has to do with being inspired by, first of all, and then it also has to do with how you allow that power that's within you to be distributed in your life in different ways. I was talking to the ministers at church one morning, and I was talking to them about how this is absolutely necessary when it comes to leading a congregation and how it becomes effective in teaching a congregation. And it works in business as well. It works in your own home. For those of you who have multiple people in your household, for those of you who have children, it's the same thing. What is it? It's about your extra powered drive and utilizing that drive to not only empower yourself, but also get other people connected to that same power that you're feeling so that it can drive them as well. A little bit more? Okay, let me give you a little bit more. Enthusiasm. Let me shift it just a little bit so I can bring you around to what I'm trying to say. Enthusiasm is like a person who you see always on 100. Have you ever seen somebody who's always on 100, always excited, always happy, always just, hey, how's it going? How you doing? I'm all right. Me too. Yeah. And you think about it and you say to yourself, wait a minute now, nobody can be excited that much all the time. Nobody is like that all the time. Most people would probably tell you that me, in my own personal mind, besides being crazy a little bit, most people would tell you Al is usually a pretty uplifting guy. You know, he's not always running around doing cartwheels and flips and everything, but in most cases he's going to be inspiring in some kind of way. He's going to be happy. He's not going to show how angry he is about certain things. Al is usually upbeat, up-tempo. For the most part, you'll be right. I see you, Sister Brenda Beatty. Hey, good to see you. Oh my gosh, it's been a long time. What that in turn does for me, to have that type of excitement or have that type of energy, have that type of power, that drive, that thrive, it gives me the ability to be joyful about what it is I do. What do you do, Al? Well, I'm a pastor. I'm excited about that. I'm happy about that. I'm full of life about that. But I'm also a husband and a father. And I'm even more excited and happy and joyful about that than I am anything else in my life. Why? Because my wife, my daughter, give me so much joy. They give me so much energy. They give me so much happiness that even though it doesn't always come out in, like I said, cartwheels and backflips and breakdancing and those kind of things, it's such a joy inside of me that at times it pushes or propels me to do things that I would not probably normally want to do. That's enthusiasm. That's being enthusiastic. What we need often in times of our lives is to be a little bit more enthusiastic than we actually are. Most people have a tendency to go through life just kind of, hey, how you doing? Have you ever talked to somebody as you pass them and you ask them how they're doing, and what kind of answers do you get? Oh, same old, same beep, different day. You've heard that. Or, it is what it is, same old, I can't call it, I can't complain. And I've said all those things in joking manner too. But there are people that literally are living that. And there are times in your life where you probably lived that as well. And you feel like, you know what? I don't really have a whole lot to be excited about right now. I don't have a whole lot to be really happy about right now. So, it's just, I understand that. I get that. And I'm not trying to throw any sticks or stones at you as a result of you feeling that way. What I do want to help you, encourage you to get to the point of being, hopefully by the end of this conversation, is to consider that your enthusiasm, if you learn to utilize it properly, can change a lot of things about your life. Can change a lot of things about your life. Okay, Al, you're telling me that if I learn how to be enthusiastic, if I learn how to be happy, and if I learn how to be, la 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 la, and go around giddy and smiling all the time, that's just going to change my situation? No, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that it's going to change everything in your life, because only one thing needs to change. Oh my goodness, I don't even want to go to this point, because if I go to that point, I'm gonna go in a totally different direction. But now, since I started it, I can't stop it, right? Yes, I can. If you change one thing in your life, it changes everything in your life. What is that one thing that needs to change? Your perspective. Your perspective, how you view what you're dealing with in your life. And it doesn't always have to be bad. It could be good. It's just what you're dealing with. The whole point is that if you learn how to utilize enthusiasm, you can change everything. You can change everything. Let me give you some ideas and examples of what I'm talking about. I see Brother Willie Davis on there. God bless you. Now, I tell you what, he's a superstar, and he is absolutely inspiring. You see Willie Davis on there, Brother Davis. If you can put a wave up or something like that so that people can see you. Go to his page, go to his Facebook page, and you will see something that is absolutely inspiring. See the life transformation that happened in his own life, in his own body, and you will be absolutely inspired by that, I'm sure. Now, let me get back to my point. Having no enthusiasm, if you can imagine this, is the same thing as not being inspired. What is not being inspired? Well, let's first talk about what inspiration is. What is inspiration? Have you ever seen a balloon? Everybody's seen a balloon, right? Have you seen it filled up? You've seen a balloon filled up. Have you ever seen a cluster of balloons filled up? You've seen that. Do you know that most people who are either driving or walking or looking have a tendency to automatically look towards balloons? If you ever go past a house and there's a whole bunch of balloons out front, normally you look toward that direction and you say, hey, what's going on? That means something is happening there. If you walk past a hall or a building and you see balloons outside, you'll say, hey, what in the world is going on here? Somebody is doing something. I just don't know what it is, but your eyes were drawn to it. Your eyes were drawn to those balloons. Why? Here you go. It's going to sound real elementary, but it's going to make a lot of sense. Balloons are inspired. You're getting it now, right? Balloons are enthusiastic. Balloons are inspired, or what the word inspired means is breathed into. Uh-oh. Man, I feel like I could preach right now. I'm getting all hot and okay. Balloons are breathed into. When you breathe your breath into a balloon, you have inspired that balloon. Somebody is picking it up. I feel you. I'm excited too. When you have your breath inside a balloon, that balloon has been inspired by you. Inspiration is attractive. Inspiration is attractive. So when you see a balloon or a cluster of balloons, your eyes are drawn to it. Why? Because you are naturally attracted to inspiration. What made Dr. King, Martin Luther King Jr., what made him such a powerful figure in the civil rights movement? Was it that he was a doctor? Yeah, he was a doctor. Was it that he had this wonderful degree? Yeah, he had a wonderful degree. Was it that he had a way with speaking that allowed people to be pulled into his world? Yeah, he had that as well. But what was it about him that attracted so many people? He was inspiring. Inspiring. In other words, he was able to take what he thought. He was able to take what a group of people thought, and he was able to breathe it into many people. What made people watch him? He also was inspired. Inspired by who? Inspired by amazing human beings who had come before him, but most of all, inspired by God. God breathed into him. He was prophetic in nature. Many of you know that. Some of you may not have known that. He was definitely a prophet, and he spoke according to things that God shared with him. He had speech writers. Those speech writers, I believe, were inspired by God. But the point is that when you see someone that is inspired, filled with, enthusiastic, entheos, filled with, full of God, it makes that person attractive. Those of you who are believers, those of you who are saints of God, those of you who know who God is and love him and live your life serving the Lord Jesus, you are inspired. Is it very interesting to you, or is it very weird to you that people come up to you and just start talking to you about their issues and their problems? Is it something that people are attracted to you, whether it's to persecute you or to find comfort in your voice, comfort in your space? People just like being around you for some reason. Is it like that at work? People come over and tell you about their problems. You're like, I don't even want to know about what's going on in your life. But for some reason, it seems like they just can't help to tell you what's going on. People call you all the time. Why? Because you are inspiring. And because you are inspired, people look to you just like they look to a balloon. That's inspiration. That's the center, that's the focus, that's the middle point of enthusiasm. Enthusiasm does a lot for people when you understand that it's not just about what you get out of it. Enthusiasm, enthos, full of God, being filled with God, this does what for you? It gives you strength. I'm talking about physical strength. I'm talking about absolute, real energy. I am talking about being able to go a day or two, maybe 3 days without sleep because you're so. Have you ever been so excited that you couldn't go to sleep at night? Excited about what's going to happen the next day, something that you were looking forward to, something that was going to be uplifting or fun, or something that was going to just make things better in your life. You were so excited. You had a thought, maybe you had an idea, you had something that you wanted to do for someone, or maybe a big day was coming where you were being appreciated or recognized, or whatever it was. You were just so excited about it, you just couldn't sleep at night. Or maybe you were so excited that you woke up early the next morning because you couldn't wait to get the day started because you were so excited about whatever was going to be happening. That is enthusiasm. That's enthusiasm. Enthusiasm will give you energy to carry out feats of strength that you never thought possible. Some people can chalk it up to adrenaline. Maybe that's what happens in times of fear. But there is enthusiasm, which happens in times of intentional purpose. Let me say this again. Enthusiasm is not always just something that, comes about regularly. There's a lot of people that you'll find that are excited, or if I could say it in another way, respectfully, hyper. Right? People are hyper, and you've seen hyper people all the time. You can never get them to sit down. They're always doing something. That's not necessarily enthusiasm. Oftentimes when people say, hey, what you up to? I try my best to make sure I say I'm not busy. because being busy means I'm just doing a whole bunch of different things. What I try to say, or what I try to do, is to say I am being effective. I would much rather be effective than busy. Why? Because busyness, like I said, all kind of things going on. Effectiveness is I am pointing all of my energies toward the completion of something, the accomplishment of something. So I would rather you be effective more so than being busy. Okay? So when I'm talking about being enthusiastic, that's not hype. That's not just happy go lucky all the time, smiling. There's a lot of people who are enthusiastic who you might not ever see smile. So you can't just go by facial expressions alone. What you can go by is action. What you can go by is doing. Oh boy, I am not so much interested. How did that poet say it? Well, he wasn't a poet, but an author. I'm not so much interested in hearing what people have to say. I pay attention now to what they do. You remember that? That's a great quote. And I encourage you to apply it to your own life and to the people around you. Are the people that are in your life, are they effective or are they just busy? Are they encouraging you to be effective or are they just encouraging you to be busy? Now, you have a part to play in that. Don't get me wrong. And I'm going to bring all this together, I promise you. But I just want to make sure I hit all the different points inside of this thing. You have a part to play in that. Don't just allow people to just take over your time. Don't allow people to usurp your time. If you have not figured out how to use your time, guess what? Other people will. And they will bombard you with their wishes. They will bombard you with their desires. They'll bombard you with their grocery list of things for you to do because you did not take time to respect your time. You did not take time to organize your time. You did not take time to say, hey, wait a minute. Let me see if this fits into my schedule. It's not about being mean. You're not mean because you may say no to someone's request of your time. What it means is you have a plan. And if you have a plan, then you can be more effective and not just busy. All right? Move back into the point, Al. I see some of y'all saying something. Kalita, I see my sister Kalita on there. God bless you, Sister Kalita. And I see my sister Rosalind Childs. God bless you. I see you on there as well. My cousin Donna. Hey, Donna Stevens in Arkansas. That's the central time I was talking about, y'all. I'm sorry that I said that earlier, that was 12 noon. It's 12 noon Eastern time. So I see you on there. And some of you have left some comments. And I'm just trying to make sure I don't miss anything that anybody is saying. Sister Brenda said sometime on Saturday to get to the house of God. Yeah, sometimes you got to be inspired or enthused or at least enthusiastic to get to the house of God. All right. So here it is. You have power in your hands. Let's just learn how to turn it on. Now, here's the next thing I want to talk about. Is it possible to learn how to be enthusiastic? Is it possible to learn how to be enthusiastic? I want to tell you absolutely yes, it is. And I'm going to show you how to do it. Is it possible to learn how to be enthusiastic? Why am I asking the question that way? Because, as I just said, many people sometimes can confuse enthusiasm with hype. Enthusiasm with being too hyperactive. Not the same thing. It's not about how much coffee you drink. It's not about how much caffeine you ingested into your system. That's not enthusiasm. That's hyperactive activity. Okay? That's not what I'm talking about. What is enthusiasm going to do? Enthusiasm is going to drive you, propel you, push you to go where you need to go and not let anything get in your way. I hope you're listening to me now. I hope you listen to me. Enthusiasm, enthos, full of God. Being full. Here's another word that you may see if you look up enthusiasm in a regular dictionary. You may see a word that say, a definition that says possessed by a God. Possessed. Don't let it scare you. Don't let it don't let it spook you out. Possessed means to be full of. Okay? Now, we don't necessarily use the word possessed in church unless oftentimes we're talking about, somebody being possessed by the devil or something like that, because that's the kind of connotation most people have to it. But possessed just means to be full of. When you are full of God, he lives within you. That's what the whole point was, right? That's what Jesus died for, right? So that Holy Spirit could live within you. That was the oh my see every time I try to get going on a real good topic, you see what I'm saying? I get going on a real good topic about something that's going to be motivational and inspirational. You know what happens? I end up preaching. It's okay. That's what I do. I'm a preacher. I'm a pastor. I love it. I can't help it. I am full of, I'm full of the word of God. I'm inspired. Breathed into. I am enthos, full of the Holy Spirit of God. Hallelujah. Okay, y'all better rein me in. Let me finish what I'm talking about here. Enthos, excitement. It's not enough to have what everyone considers to be excitement for just a few minutes. Excitement, exit. Consider it that way. Excitement. When you see a balloon blown into, that's inspiration, right? We talked about that. When you let that balloon go and all the air goes out and you see that balloon going all over the place, that's excitement. Do you see the difference? Inspiration, full of, excitement, escaping, leaving out, going, gone, bye-bye. That's what I don't want for you. I don't want you to just be excited. Say it a little clearer, Al. This is going to be for my church folks right here, church family, all of you who believe. Okay, the word says we have these treasures hidden in what? Earthen vessels, right? Earthen vessels. So there used to be a philosophy or a word somebody said, hey, if I'm full, then let me break the vessel so that everybody can get some. Not smart. Not smart at all. What do you mean? Why don't we want everybody to have what's inside of us? You break that vessel, what happens? It runs out onto the ground. Nobody can use it. If you take that vessel and you use it to pour, come on somebody, where's my organ player at? Okay, if you use that to pour somewhere, pour on someone, pour on something, pour on a family, pour on a household, pour on your business. Use that treasure that is hidden in your earthen vessel, come on, to intentionally pour it onto something or someone that can be useful. Now you're doing something. Okay? That's the same thing I want you to think about when it comes to inspiration versus excitement, or enthusiasm versus excitement. Now, let me flip this a little bit so we can talk about the other part of this, because I know we're getting close on time. It's already, oh my goodness, it's already 12:42. Listen, we got to wrap this thing up quick. I see some of you making some comments, and I don't want to miss this. Let's see what you're saying. Oh, yep, it definitely does happen. It definitely does happen, Sister Collins. Let's see here. Sister, my cousin Donna, if we put some gratitude in our attitude, come on, cousin Donna, you better preach, girl. If we put some gratitude in our attitude, our complete life would change. That's when we start appreciating ourselves and others. Oh, and she said, hello, Pastor Al. That's my cousin. I love you, girl. I can't wait to see y'all again. Now, listen, if you're just joining us and you don't know what in the world is going on, you just see this guy that seems like his head is just popping off. My name is Al Wilson Jr. You're watching Coaching by Al. I'm asking you, if you enjoy what we're talking about right now, I want you to share this page, this live feed, what's happening right now. I want you to share it with somebody. What are we talking about? Enthusiasm. Do you hear how my voice level has changed? Do you hear how my passion has risen? Do you see my eyeballs, how wide they are? Is it because I'm excited? No, it's because I am enthusiastic. Here's the thing. What happens then when you are not enthused? What happens when you are not enthusiastic? What happens when you do not have or show or display enthusiasm? Hold on to that. I'm going to come back to it. Here's what I want to do. The question that I asked earlier, is it possible to learn how to be enthusiastic? You may have people around you, young people around you. You may have coworkers. You might even be at work yourself at some point in the week, and you say, you know what? I really don't feel enthused at all. I am not enthused. I am not excited about this. If I ask you, how do you like your job? You'd probably say, I hate it. Name something you like about your job. I can't. You know what's happening? You are not enthused. So what happens then? It has everything to do. I might need I might have to do this in two parts on like maybe a second week if I can't fit it all in here. What happens is when you are not enthused, let me use the right word. When you are not enthused, when you are not enthusiastic, when you are not inspired, what happens is you create for yourself a tunnel, a filter. You create for yourself a downward spiral that is constantly fueled by negativity. This is something that I talked about most recently. If you haven't seen it already, it was one of the messages that I shared with the congregation, God's Holy Temple Church congregation. It's on YouTube, by the way. Go to God's Holy Temple Church on YouTube. Just type in God's Holy Temple Church, and you'll see the messages there that have currently been uploaded. One of the messages that I shared was called, "What Did You Expect?" What did you expect? In this, what I talked about was two different types of expectation. One type of expectation that I shared was dealing with the rich young ruler who came to Jesus and said, hey, what must I do to be saved? Because I don't want to give it away. I want you to go there and watch it. But what I can tell you is that he had one type of expectation, because after Jesus explains to him what he needs to inherit eternal life, he walks away sad. You remember the story. There was another level of expectation where a woman comes, Syrophoenician woman comes with a request to Jesus for her daughter who is sick, grievously sick, and she goes away happy. Two different levels of expectation. When I'm talking about what happens when you are not enthusiastic, if you do not allow enthusiasm to exude from you, what happens is you become just like that first man who goes away sad. If you have nothing to, if you have no expectation, if you do not have a high expectation, you do not receive a lot. If you do not receive a lot, what happens to your expectation the next time? Here's a part of the diagram that I drew to share with the congregation what I was talking about. Your expectation, look at this as a chart, if you will. A chart. Have you ever seen one of those pictures of a recycling chart where it's an arrow going this way, an arrow going that way, and an arrow going back up, and it's just constantly circling? Think about that while I'm sharing with you this. Expectation. Your expectation determines the effort that you give. The effort that you give determines the results that you get. The results that you get determines the expectation the next time around, which also fuels the effort the next time around, which also fuels the result the next time around. Now, let's put this in some practical terms that we can understand. If I have high expectation, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to give great effort. My great effort is going to determine my results. If I give great effort, I'm going to get great results. If I get great results, what is it going to do to my expectation the next time around? It's going to give me greater expectation. And because of the greater expectation, the next time I'm going to put in even greater effort, which is going to give me even greater results. And it keeps going over and over and over. Now, let's flip that. What if I give half expectation? I don't really expect a lot. I don't expect a whole bunch. It is what it is. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, so be it. I give half expectation. I put in some kind of effort, not really a lot of effort, because I'm not expecting a whole lot. I give a little bit of effort. Guess what I get? Poor results. Why? I didn't give a lot of effort, but then again, I didn't have a lot of expectation. So I get a little bit of effort or a little bit of results, poor results. Now that I have this poor results, my inspiration is going away. It's my air in my balloon is coming out. So now I'm going to go into the next project with even less expectation. Why? Because I didn't get good results. So now I'm going to give even less effort. I'm going to get even less results. I'm going to have even less expectation. You see what's happening? It's a cycle. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. How do you teach yourself to be enthusiastic? How do you teach yourself to be inspired? If you can't think of anything good to have you ever heard this? If you can't find something good to say, don't say anything at all. I'm going to tell you this. Find something good to say. Find something good to say. Don't forget, like this, share this right now with everyone. Share this with everyone you can, because I'm about to give away a secret of the universe right here. If you can find one thing to be excited about, build on that. What are you excited about? Tell me. If matter of fact, if you want to write it down in the comments section, tell me one thing that you're excited about, or let me say it this way: not just excited, one thing that you're enthused about. Tell me one thing you're enthused about. Tell me one thing that you just you think about it before you go to sleep at night, or you wake up thinking about it, or something that you really have in your mind, like, oh my gosh, this is, and it doesn't have to be anything monumental. It doesn't mean you have to figure out how to solve world hunger. It doesn't mean that, you have to figure out a way to become a Nobel Peace Prize winner. Maybe you could be excited about the fact that you wake up in the morning. Maybe you are happy, or maybe you are enthused by the fact that there's an opportunity coming up for you to have something in your life that you've always wanted. Maybe you're enthused because you already have what you wanted. Maybe you wanted a family. Maybe you wanted a particular position. Maybe you wanted to have a house and you just got that house. Or maybe you wanted to lose weight and you actually reached your goal, or you see yourself headed toward reaching your goal. Whatever it is, what are you enthused about? Because in doing so, what happens is, if you will start using that as a seed and build upon it, you will become fully excited. What am I enthused about? I am enthused about speaking. I love filling people up with enthusiasm. I love inspiring people to go from where they are to where they want to be. I am just full of talking to companies about customer service and how to get their companies to not just look at people as case numbers, or how to look at people as dollars or cents in the bank, but look at them as people. And when you look at them as people, what happens is you develop a relationship with them. And now, not only are they spending money with you, but they are loyal to your brand. They are loyal to you because everybody's making the same products, but you treated them like a human. You treated them like a person. You developed a relationship with them. That makes the difference. That's going to add to the bottom line. So you see, I'm excited about that. You see how I just started going on and on and on? How do you develop that, Al? How do you get to that point? Because I'm not just that kind of, upbeat person like that. There was a teenager I was talking to one time. My cousin says, waking up just to see another day. I know that's right. I'm enthused about that. Because when I wake up and see another day, I recognize that it wasn't just me. I didn't have anything to do with that. That was all God. Amen. Come on, somebody. That was all God. And when I get past opening my eyes, everything else should be pretty easy, right? Now, I was talking to a teenager one time, and you know how most teenagers are. At some point, they're just like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, yeah, I'm all right. Okay, I'm good. Never got more than a few words out of this young man. Every time I would see him, every Sunday, I would talk to him. How you doing? Good. What you been up to? Nothing. What are you doing next week? I don't know. How's school? It's all right. That was the whole conversation. And I kept thinking, how can I reach this young man? How can I get him to open up to me so that we can talk, so that I can inspire him, so that I can fill him with something? I can share some gift with him. I can convey some level of anointing or teaching or training, something that's going to empower this young man. I couldn't find a way in. So I asked the Lord, I said, Lord, what is it that I need? He said, just make a connection. Just make a connection. And what he showed me was a picture in a dream. He showed me a picture of myself teaching children how to play tennis. Now, I played tennis in high school, so I knew what I was doing. And I said, in the dream, I had the tennis ball and I had the racket. I said, all I want you to do is just make a connection. That's all I want you to do. Make a connection. Just make a connection. Just make a connection. That's all you got to do. Just make a connection. I wanted them to drop the ball on the ground and then try to hit it with the racket. I didn't want them to learn top spin. I didn't want them to learn where to stand on the court. I didn't want them to learn how to serve. None of that yet. First thing is just make a connection. We sat down one day, me and that young man. We were at dinner. All our family was there and everything. Everybody was there. And I'm thinking, how can I get him to talk to me more? Why is he so mundane? And then a topic just popped into my head. Computers. I said, do you have a laptop? You have a computer? He said, yeah. I said, what do you like to look at on your computer? Oh my goodness, why did I say that? He started talking about his role and his involvement in his high school in making robots. That's what one of the most exciting things in his life was, making robots. He loved the there was the competition that him and his friends were in where they build these robots in class, and then they go and they compete with these robots in a tournament that's known all over the world. And I can't remember the name of the tournament right now, but I'm sure you've heard about it. It's a robotics tournament. This young man talked for almost 45 minutes straight. I never got another word in edgewise. What happened? He got enthusiastic. I found out what that one thing was that he was enthused about, what he was inspired by. And oh my goodness, it opened him up. Now, am I enthusiastic about robotics? Nah, not really. I like tinkering here and there with computers, and I think I know a little bit about this and that. But I'm not into computers. I'm not into robots. I'm not into artificial intelligence, AI, and all that kind of thing. But he absolutely was. And this same young man who weeks before, months before, probably a year or two before, that I could never get anything more than, hey, how you doing? I'm all right. Next thing I know, his eyes are bright. They're bucked. He's looking at me. He's talking, he's smiling while he's talking, he's leaning in, and he's telling me everything that he can possibly think to tell me about what's going on in his life as it relates to robotics. And these are the gestures that he's using. I mean, he's giving me a full dissertation on understanding programming, understanding coding, understanding, he's giving it all to me, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm looking and I'm thinking, can this be the same young man who did not want to say 2 words to me just a few minutes ago? When you find that one thing that you are enthused about, as my cousin said, just waking up in the morning, do you know that if you just start to talk about that one little seed of what you are enthused about, the more you talk about it, the more life will come to you, the more joy will come to you, the more love will come to you. And next thing you know, you sound like me, yelling all over the place. You find yourself making gestures. You find your eyes getting bright. You find that words are coming to you that you didn't even prepare. You didn't write down. I don't have any notes in front of me right now. The reason why I can talk the way I do is because I am enthused. I'm enthusiastic, full of God, inspired. I am full. And the more I talk about it, the more full I become, the more filled up I am, and it pours out. That's the key to changing your perspective. Take the seed that you have and nurture it by doing it. Take the seed if you like arts and crafts, if you like reading, if you like writing, if you like driving, I don't care whatever it is, just start to unwrap it a little bit. Or in other words, talk about it. Talk about it. You will find, or if you don't talk about it, write about it. Maybe you say, the way it comes out for me is I like to paint, or I like to draw, or maybe I like to create music. Whatever it is, when you take what you are enthused by, inspired by, and you start to share it little bit by little bit, it doesn't have to be perfect, but what happens is enthusiasm becomes contagious. The more excited, I don't want to keep saying excited because we already talked about that. Excited is when you let the balloon go and it's, you don't want that. The more you are enthused, people see it and they gravitate to it. Like I said with Dr. King, that's what makes leaders. It's not so much that leaders want to lead. No real leader, I hope y'all listening to me, no real leader has ever wanted to lead. What happened was they were so determined about what it was that they were going to do, regardless of what came in their way. I don't care if as they say, hell or high water, nothing is going to stop me from doing what I've set my mind to do. When you find someone that's that determined, that's serious about what it is they're doing, it inspires others and it attracts them to the one who is inspired. That's how Dr. King, I promise you, Martin Luther King, he did not want to be the leader of the civil rights movement. That was not in his mind. That was not his agenda. That was not his goal when he graduated from college with that PhD. No, that was not his goal. His goal was to make sure he took all the education possible that he could use to be a more effective preacher, speaker, pastor, thought leader. What happened was, as he began to speak and people began to hear the passion in his voice, they were drawn to him. He was that filled up balloon. People look at balloons. It was him. Everybody drew to him. And some other preachers who had a whole lot of, red in their ledger, so to speak, had a lot of luggage, a lot of bones they said, let's put him out there. He's a young man. He's 26 years old. Nobody knows who he is yet. Let's put him, and everything took off. That's what happens for many of you. That's the reason why you find yourself many times in the midst of your friends. You're the one who comes up with the ideas. You're the one who comes up with, it's all of us have that. You're inspiring because you are inspired. If you utilize that and you nurture it, put it toward anything that you're doing, and you will find that your perspective changes on what is possible. It changes your perception. It elevates your expectation. When your expectation is high, your effort is high. When your effort is high, your results are high. When your results are high, you have a greater expectation, which means you do greater effort, which means you get greater results, which gives you greater expectation. Do you see what I'm going? I know I said that a million times already. You know what? I got to stop. I can't believe that time went by that fast. But that's what happens when you are enthusiastic. Do you get it now? I'm so happy, and I thank so many of you for watching me today. I see my, what else did you say, cuz? I'm sorry. Oh, I see Celeste. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much. Please be sure to go back and watch this. Anybody who's just joining us, if you missed it, listen to this about enthusiasm. Listen to this video. If you know somebody that needs to hear it, share it. Send it to them. Share it on your page. I'm sure I haven't said anything on here. You can try me if you want to. You tell me. I haven't said anything that will embarrass anybody. The goal is to get you to be enthusiastic. Watch how it will raise your level of expectation, and watch how with a raised level of expectation, you will give greater effort. It will give you greater result, and it will just keep spiraling up and up and up and up and up. Your perspective is what changed. I see my sister Jackie on here. Jackie Cross, God bless you. Thank you so much. My cousin said, amen, Pastor Al, I see your cup runneth over on this blessed morning. Preach that word. Amen. Where's my organ player at? Send one of my cousins over here so they can play. I got to stop. I love you all. Don't forget, holycloud.us. That is our sponsor for today. Thank you so much, holycloud.us. Go to that website if you need a domain name, if you need emails, if you need SSL certificate for your website, if you need a website created for you, go to holycloud.us. They do it all. They are our sponsors for today. If you would like to have your commercial or your business product or service talked about or shown inside of Coaching by Al, go to info@coachingbyal.com. info@coachingbyal.com. I also have that on holycloud.us, by the way. Send me your information. Let's get together. Let's talk. I would love to share with you how you can sponsor this program. God bless you. That's it. I'm out of here. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Don't forget, be inspired. Be enthused. Don't just be excited. Be inspired. Be enthused. I love you. God bless you. See you next week. That's it for me. Man, that was... hey, I see Lisa. God bless you, Lisa.
You are listening to Worship Radio International, the world's #1 online Christian radio station. Check out our website at www.worshipradio.faith. Or follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Worship Radio INT. This is the future.